Let's talk a minute about the replacement fixture. This is a temperature control valve. It has the ability to control the temperature of the water from 20 degrees Celsius up to 50 degrees Celsius, and you calibrate the knob the way you want it to be. So here's a closer look at the hot side, and as you see, there's graduations for everything. The great thing I like about this is if the grandkids are with me and they want to take a shower, I really worry about them turning the hot water on too hot and getting scalded. So that's one of the reasons I went to this. The great thing about it is once you set it, and you can set the calibration any way you want to, but at 38, if there's a snap, you probably heard it, the kids can't turn it any hotter unless they push the override button, which is the red one, and now it can go up. For instance, I like the temperature just below 45, probably 42, I'm guessing. It doesn't matter, because once you set it, you don't have to worry. And if the kids are going to take a shower, pop it back to 38, which is about 100 degrees, 95 to 100 degrees, and it'll stay right there until you run out of hot water. It's a great idea for me. I enjoy it. I don't have to worry about the kids being in the shower by themselves. It's heavy duty. It's all brass, chrome to brass, I'm sure. The fittings on the back attach right to the existing fittings in my camper, which I'm assuming are pretty much standard throughout the industry, or they seem to be. And as you see, I've had it in and I've used it, so I've scribbled some water all over it. But set this way, the hose fits right on here very nicely. I did have to use 2 washers instead of just 1 rubber washer because it had a tendency to leak. It needed a few more threads. Nothing I'm going to grumble about. So while you're taking a shower, instead of turning the water off up at the shower head, you turn it off here. It stops, just like you would any other time. Lather up your hair or soap up, whatever you want to do. Reach over and turn the water back on. You can put it anywhere from full force or quarter, and the temperature stays the same until you run out of hot water. So if you let the water in the pipe sit for quite a while, then of course it has to purge out the colder water until it gets up to temperature. But isn't that great? One little control. You can change the settings on this if you want to set the calibration to be more accurate by taking this plug out. You take 1 screw out, pop the handle off, put the settings to where you want them for the setting for the click and everything. You set all that, put the screw back in, put the cap back on, and you're ready to go. Now for me, I've already tried it. I like it just the way it is. I'm going to keep the settings. I'm going to use the override when either myself or my wife takes a shower. We want it a little bit warmer, at least I do. So now let's go install this thing.
Goes without saying, make sure the water's turned off to the camper, including your freshwater pump inside.
Removing the faucet, step 1 is of course to remove the hose. Simply unscrews, get it out of the way. Next step is to pop the caps off of the screws. Use that with just a knife and pop right off. Save them, you don't need to put them back on. Okay. Screwdriver. Takes the screws out. out, be sure you take a knife, cut the silicone all the way around, just to ease it so that it breaks the seal. Remove the screws. This one has already been off once. That's why it's coming off so easy. But you simply pry it loose after you get all the screws out. Pry it loose, and you'll see the connections in the back, which are, sometimes you have to have a pair of pliers to remove them. And the whole system comes apart. If you want to save the plates, this one has a crack in it. I'm not going to reuse it. But to change the faucets, if that's all you're going to do, you simply unscrew both of the nuts. The other one, it comes apart. You can put the new faucet in and go back. I don't intend on using a big faucet. I'm going to use a temperature control system. Installation is the reverse of the original process when we pulled everything apart. As I said, I'm using a different faceplate. This was made from some thin fiberglass because the old bezel here was cracked and water had leaked, that sort of thing, which is just not my nasty idea of quality. But to reinstall, it's a simple matter of screwing on the existing fittings. Of course, hot goes to the hot side, cold goes to the cold side. Make sure you don't cross-thread the fittings. It is plastic. If you do, you're going to make a trip down to your local RV store and buy new ones. It's no big deal. Happens all the time. People come in and say, well, I got the threads wrong. So then we go in and fix them up with a whole new set. That's the good thing about the plastic plumbing in the RV. Don't over-tighten, but you need them good and snug so they don't leak. There's a special little washer in there, kind of cone-shaped, that prevents the leaks. There's all kinds of tools to use. Pliers are about the best. As I say, snug them down real good, make sure there's no leaks. At this point, you can turn the water on to be sure. Then, simple task of putting the screws back in. Get them started. Sometimes they can be difficult. Okay, get the screws tight, snugged up. Put the caps back on. They pop into place. And of course, I dropped one out on the floor somewhere, but we'll find it. At this point, I would come back with some bathroom caulking. I don't like to use silicone in here because it usually attracts the mold. But if you use a bathroom caulk, it It's easier to get off if you ever have to replace this or do adjustments to it. Caulk all the way around and you're ready to go. At this point, we need to reattach our shower hose. Many different ways to do it. As I said, I use 2 washers. And now I gotta find the video. I use 2 of the washers. They're available at any RV place. Once again, snug, not super tight, don't crack it. Run your hose any way you want to. Make sure the water's turned off. Now it's time to turn the water on, check for leaks, and heat up the water heat. Okay, the water's on. The heater has done its job and it's heated to the right temperature, which is super hot. Now we let the air out of the system, as you can hear. Let the air out of the hot water side. There we go. Perfect for the kids. The little ones can enjoy their little showers, get water all over the floor, we can do a mop up, and be happy. Now for me, I'm going to push the override and run it up to about there. And there, it's much warmer the way I like it. Of course, I have even more to go, which to me is too hot. I'll crank it back down. Perfect. Now, you can shut the water off, lather up, whatever you need to do. Turn the water back on. Perfect. No wasting a lot of water trying to reset the dials and everything. So you have it real easy. Don't have to mess with the up top or not. And I've also noticed that even with the existing shower head that came with the coach, that I get a better shower. So needless to say, I'm very happy with this little $61 device. Found them on eBay. This is the model that comes from overseas, so it's in centigrade. But they have them in America that are in Fahrenheit. If that's your thing, you want it in Fahrenheit, you pay a little more money, and you've got it. The last thing I need to do is caulk around the faceplate, and we're ready to go camping. Installation